Hey everybody, Bearded Rogue here, and I figured since I was going to GenCon, I'd let everybody know kind of what I'm bringing with me. I am a game designer. That's as much as I talk about other things that may be hard to remember it, but I'm going to be bringing several of my designs with me to GenCon, and if you're interested in playing any of them, let me know. But I wanted to go over them all a little bit so that you know what you're up for. So the first one is a small game. I carry it around in one of these called Fire in the Library. It is a press your luck game. You are librarians at the Library of Alexandria in ancient Egypt, and it is burning down, as of course we know it did. Your goal is to try to save as much knowledge as possible from the library before it burns down. So all of the players are competing against each other to retrieve books from the library, which the library is a bag, and the books are cubes. However, you'll see some of these cubes are red. If I can get it to focus. The red cubes are fire. Fire is bad, okay? If you draw a red cube, then you will actually burn the books that you have retrieved, which will make the books that you draw later on worth more points, because they're now more valuable because they're more rare. So it's a game that you're kind of pressing your luck to see how many points you can get and trying to avoid fire. If you go later on in the rounds and take your time, you can draw books safer. However, the end conditions are immediate, so there's not a guarantee of an equal number of turns or a guarantee that everybody's going to get to go the same number of times. So you kind of have to take that gamble as to whether or not you want to go earlier in the round or later in the round to see whether or not you'll get the turns that you need to have the most points at the end. So that's Fire in the Library. I'm feeling really good about this one. This one's really fun. Playtesters like it. And I brought it to Origins and got some excellent feedback there and tweaked it, and it's better now than it's ever been. Awesome game, in my opinion. Probably the game that I'm right now the most happy with as far as everything, like rules, components, setup, everything. Totally enamored with where that one's at right now. It's come together pretty quick. The next game is Build the Robots, which, man, there's a lot of glare. These are the robot tokens. You've got steel robot side, plastic robot side. Build the Robots is a hand builder and a programming game. In Build the Robots, you are a scientist who has become fed up with your day job, and as scientists often do, you have gone mad and are now building an army of robots to take over the world. Unfortunately, your robot minions have told you that you're not the only one who had this idea. Apparently, it's been a bad week. And so all of the other players are also looking to take over the world. So you're in a bit of a race to try to conquer as much of the planet and build as big of a robot army as you possibly can. Robots are worth points. The cities that you conquer are worth points. All of the cities are cards that you add to your deck. I say deck, but it's really your hand at this point. This game used to be a deck builder. We've, however, scaled it down to be a hand builder. So now all of your cards are in your hand unless they're in your assembly line or your discard pile. And the assembly line is the action programming part. So when you play a card, you play it in the first position. Say this is a card. You play it in the first position, and then it triggers, and then the other two cards in your assembly line trigger. And then the furthest one, the oldest card, falls off. These two slide over, and now you have a space for the next card you play on your next turn. So each time you play a card, it will activate the turn you play it, and then another 2 turns. Anytime you conquer a city or claim a city as one of your own, you'll add it to your hand immediately. So unlike deck builders or other games of that nature, when you add a card to your engine, you gain immediate use of that card on your next turn. You don't have to wait for it to cycle through. There's no shuffling. There's no deck. So you don't have to worry about your cards coming out in the wrong order. At any point, you can choose to recharge your entire laboratory, and whenever you do that, you get rid of a card out of your discard pile, put the rest of the cards from your discard pile back into your hand, take all of your robots and put them back into your active pool so that you can use them again to start claiming cards. And in order to do that, you just have to pay money equal to the number of cards in your hand. So you could do that when you have 14 cards in your hand if you were crazy and managed to get 14 cards in your hand, or you could wait until you have no cards in hand, at which point your entire system cycles for free. And it really rewards efficiency and planning, and now with the change from deck builder to hand builder, it kind of screams. It used to play in an hour to 75 minutes, and now it's about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm super excited about the changes that were made to this one based on Origins feedback and speed dating. It's the one I speed dated at Origins, so I'm really excited about it as well and would love to play test with people. It's a game I've been working on for a while. Then I have my beat-em-up game. Which right now features a Ninja Turtles theme, if you can't see. My beat-em-up game is a real-time card-playing game. It is cooperative. Everybody's working together to try to defeat the Foot Clan and the Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady and all of them. However, it is in real time, so it's fast and furious, playing the cards from your deck onto enemies to make them go away to reveal the next group of enemies. It plays a lot like a Ninja Turtles fighting game, like the old school beat-em-ups, the side-scrollers in temperament. It doesn't share the exact mechanics, but I really tried to capture the feel as much as I possibly could. Right now it's Ninja Turtles themed. I don't know if that's going to continue to be so because of IP and all sorts of other reasons, but I think it's a really good game just as it is, and I really look forward to pitching that one around for real-time as a real-time game. A lot of people who don't even like real-time games thought this one was pretty cool, so hopefully it can find a home. And then the last one I'm bringing is Dice Heroes, and Dice Heroes is the cooperative dungeon crawling game that I brought with me to Unpub. It has no dice, it has dice, obviously. It has dice in the title, but it has no grid, it has no minis, and the dice are not randomizers in a traditional fashion. So it is a dice drafting game, so all of the dice are rolled into a pool in the center, and then the heroes collectively and cooperatively draft the dice to activate their hero abilities in order to defeat the denizens of the dungeon that they're infiltrating. And I have 3 different decks with me: the kobolds, which are the easy deck, the goblins, which are the medium deck, and the hard deck, which is the orcs. And it's in development. I've got 4 heroes for it right now. I've got 4 like test heroes in here. I've got other dungeons that are still in a very beta state, but it's something that I'm still working on. Initial feedback from Unpub was really positive. However, there's some worry that it might be a little bit too complicated. I think it is definitely a gamer's game. It's much more of a card gamer's game. If you are into Magic or Netrunner or games with really high card interactions, I think it's probably more on that level. It's not the same as Sentinels of the Sentinels of the Multiverse. Wow. My tongue really got tied up on that. It's not the same, but it's similar in concept in that all of the players are working together against an AI enemy. That's really where the comparison kind of stops as far as mechanics and everything go, but since Sentinels is one of my favorite games at all time, anytime somebody compares it to Sentinels, it makes me very, very happy. We're also going to have a couple of other games with us. I'm going to have a deck of cards that we're right now calling the Circles deck. I have no idea what we're going to do with it. I just kind of had a dream about it at one point, and we made the deck and tried the initial version of the game that was in my dream, and of course, like anything, games that you think up in your dreams don't necessarily work in the real world. So now we're trying to figure out what to do with this deck of cards that we've got. So I'll have that on hand if you're a designer who's looking to like mess around or play around in the weeds at all. That'll be something that we may pull out from time to time. John, my co-designer on pretty much all of these games, is bringing a game called Whether or Not. It is a interesting trick-taking game in that all of the cards are dual numbered, and by that I mean your 19 is also a 91. It has every number that isn't a double, so no 55, no 66, no 44 in the deck. All of the non-duplicate numbers are in, and your goal is to try to basically take no points. Every round you play cards, and whoever played the highest card wins the sun points, the warm points, and whoever plays the lowest temperature card gets the cold points. And ultimately, you want them all to be 0. That's the goal there. It's benefits you really to not take any tricks, but it's also cool if you can take specific tricks to try to even out towards 0. Golf scores are fun. Other than that, we will have They Live with us, which we're tentatively titling Chew Bubblegum and Kick Ass. I really like this game and where it's headed. It's still fairly early in design at this point, but we're trying to get things hammered down and get as much into it as possible. It is a cooperative game. You are all human beings who are trying to uncover the alien conspiracy that runs everything and reveal it to the rest of the world. So you're running around the city from location to location based on locations from the movie to try to uncover pieces of the conspiracy to eventually expose the aliens to everyone. So each location in the game is a tile, and once you achieve a certain goal in the game, you'll flip over that tile to its revealed side. So instead of being the happy, normal location of the bank, it will flip over and you'll see the alien-controlled side of the bank, which will have a much less favorable ability, and at the same time will also have a much less favorable place for you to hang out in, because the aliens will flock there in stronger numbers. Like in the movie, the goal is to not defeat the aliens. You can't possibly beat them. You're only, 4 people. They kind of control everything. But by the end of the game, all of the sections of the board have been flipped over to reveal the alien conspiracy, and that's your real goal over the course of the game, is to make sure that everybody knows that this is happening. So like in the end of the movie, the aliens have been exposed for what they are, and what happens after that is kind of left up to us. John Carpenter didn't answer those questions, so, who am I to do so? But yeah, that's what we got in the hopper. That's what we're bringing. We'll probably have a few other things assorted here and there, I'm sure. Gonna try to bring a bit of a designer's toolkit with things like card sleeves and markers and index cards and things like that. So if we do anything on the fly, we have materials to mess around with. But I'd really like to hang out with other designers. I'd really like to playtest my games. I'd really like to playtest other people's games. That's one of the main things I go to conventions for, is to meet all of my design brethren and sistren and, hang out with all of them and play games and design games and work on games and create fun, because that's what we're in the business of. Anyway, that's what I'm bringing with me to GenCon game-wise, so if you are interested in any of it, find me. I'll be around. So that's Bearded Rogue, signing off.